The market district of Zenith Station buzzed with the usual chaos of 100 species bartering, arguing, and conducting business in a dozen languages. Leo Martinez weaved through the crowd, his worn jacket marking him as just another human trader trying to make ends meet in the outer colonies. He'd come to sell salvage tech components, nothing fancy, just enough to keep his small ship running for another month. That's when he saw it happen, a Krillian thief, all 6 arms moving with practiced precision, snatched a crystalline bag from a tall alien woman and disappeared into the crowd. The woman, her skin a shimmering violet with bioluminescent patterns that pulsed with what Leo assumed was distress, stood frozen for a moment, her large eyes widening in shock. Most people looked away. Getting involved in station crime was a quick way to end up in trouble, especially for a human with no powerful connections. But Leo's feet were moving before his brain could talk him out of it. "Hey," he shouted, pushing through the crowd after the thief. The Krillian was fast, but Leo knew these corridors. He'd been trading on Zenith Station for 3 years, knew every shortcut and dead end. He vaulted over a cargo container, cut through a maintenance passage, and emerged right in the thief's path. The collision sent them both sprawling, the crystalline bag skittering across the metal floor. The Krillian hissed something in a language Leo didn't recognize and pulled a plasma blade. Leo raised his hands, backing up slowly. "Easy, friend. Just give back the bag and we'll call it even." The thief lunged. Leo dodged, barely, and grabbed a support pipe from a nearby wall panel. It wasn't much of a weapon, but desperation made him brave. They exchanged several clumsy blows before station security finally arrived, their weapons trained on both of them. "He stole that bag," Leo said quickly, pointing at the Krillian. "I was just trying to help." The violet woman appeared, slightly out of breath, her bioluminescent patterns now pulsing in a different rhythm. She spoke to the security officers in flawless galactic standard. "This human speaks truth. He recovered my property at considerable personal risk." The Krillian was taken away, still hissing protests. Leo picked up the crystalline bag and handed it to the woman, noticing for the first time the intricate robes she wore beneath her travel cloak. They bore symbols he didn't recognize, but they screamed importance. "Thank you," she said, her voice melodic and surprisingly warm. "You didn't have to do that." "Most wouldn't have." Leo shrugged, suddenly self-conscious. "Yeah, well, seemed like the right thing to do." She studied him with those large, intelligent eyes. "What is your name?" "Human." "Leo Martinez. I am Hazel Tharavin of the High Arbitration Council," she said. "I will not forget this kindness." Leo Martinez, before he could ask what the High Arbitration Council was. She was gone, gliding through the crowd with remarkable grace. 2 weeks later, Leo found himself in the worst trouble of his life. The cargo he'd purchased in good faith turned out to be stolen collective military technology. He'd been arrested the moment he tried to leave Zenith Station, dragged into a holding cell, and informed that he was facing 20 years in a collective prison colony. "I didn't know." He'd protested to his court-appointed attorney, a bored-looking Ventaxian who barely glanced at his file. "I bought it from a licensed dealer." "How was I supposed to know?" "Ignorance is not a defense under collective law," the attorney said flatly. "Your best option is to plead guilty and hope for leniency. Maybe they'll reduce it to 15 years. 15 years. Leo felt his stomach drop. He was only 28. 15 years in a prison colony meant his life was essentially over. The trial was held in Zenith Station's High Court, an imposing chamber designed to make defendants feel small. Leo stood in the accused platform, surrounded by holographic evidence displays, while prosecutors from 3 different species outlined his crimes in excruciating detail. He barely listened. What was the point? Then the judge entered, and Leo's heart stopped. Hazel Tharavin. She wore formal judicial robes now, the symbols of the High Arbitration Council prominent on her chest. Her bioluminescent patterns pulsed in a steady, authoritative rhythm. She took her seat at the elevated bench and surveyed the courtroom with those same intelligent eyes that had looked at him with gratitude 2 weeks ago. For a moment, their eyes met. Leo saw something flicker in her expression: recognition. Certainly, but what else? Would she remember? Would it matter? The prosecution rested its case. Leo's attorney gave a half-hearted defense that essentially amounted to he's just a stupid human who didn't know better. The accused may make a final statement, Hazel announced, her voice filling the chamber. Leo stood, his legs shaking. What could he possibly say? That he was innocent. That he'd been set up. That he'd spent the last 2 weeks trying to figure out which licensed dealer had sold him stolen goods, only to discover the shop had vanished overnight. I'm not going to insult this court by claiming I'm blameless, he said finally. I should have been more careful, should have asked more questions. But I'm not a criminal. I'm just a trader trying to survive out here like everyone else. I made a mistake, and I'll accept whatever consequences come from that. But I'm begging for the court to consider that this was truly an accident, not malice. He sat down, feeling hollow. It wasn't eloquent. It probably wouldn't matter. Hazel was silent for a long moment, her patterns pulsing in what Leo had learned was deep thought. Finally, she spoke. I have reviewed the evidence in this case extensively. While the accused did possess stolen military technology, there is insufficient evidence of criminal intent. The dealer who sold him this cargo has indeed disappeared, and their licensing credentials were recently discovered to be fraudulent. This human appears to be a victim of a sophisticated smuggling operation, not a perpetrator. Leo's attorney sat up straighter, suddenly paying attention. Furthermore, Hazel continued, her gaze fixed on Leo. I have had the opportunity to observe this human's character firsthand. 2 weeks ago, Leo Martinez placed himself in danger to recover stolen property for a stranger, expecting nothing in return. He demonstrated the kind of moral courage that is, unfortunately, rare in any species. A person of such character would not knowingly traffic in stolen military technology. The prosecution began to object, but Hazel raised a hand for silence. The charges are dismissed. However, Mr. Martinez, you are ordered to cooperate fully with collective intelligence in their investigation of this smuggling ring. You will also undergo mandatory training in verification procedures for cargo acquisition. Do you understand? Leo could barely breathe. Yes, Your Honor. Thank you. As the courtroom cleared, Hazel descended from the bench. She approached Leo, her patterns pulsing in what he now recognized as amusement. You looked terrified when you recognized me, she said. I thought I was done for. Leo admitted. Figured you'd want to look extra impartial. Justice and gratitude are not mutually exclusive. Mr. Martinez, you showed me who you truly are that day in the market. Today, I merely ensured that truth was heard in this courtroom. She paused, tilting her head. Though I admit, I am curious why you helped me. Most humans I've encountered in the outer colonies are less altruistic. Leo thought about that. My mom used to say that who you are is defined by what you do when nobody's watching and there's no reward. Yes, that stuck with me. Hazel's patterns brightened, pulsing in what was unmistakably approval. Your mother was wise. I hope you will remember this lesson. Leo Martinez. The universe has a strange way of circling back on itself. Kindness is never truly wasted. She turned to leave, then paused. And perhaps be more careful about your cargo dealers. Despite everything. Leo laughed. Yeah, definitely learned that lesson. As he walked out of the courthouse a free man, Leo couldn't help but smile. His mom had been right all along. In a galaxy full of self-interest and survival-of-the-fittest mentality, sometimes being decent was the most radical thing a human could do. And sometimes, just sometimes, it actually paid off.